Welcome to Old Dog, Young Bull. Old school meets new wave as Joe Old Dog Mays and Charlie Young Bull Forrester deliver a multimedia discussion of all things sports. Now settle in as Joe and Charlie come strong here on Old Dog, Young Bull. Welcome back to the Old Dog, Young Bull podcast. Sitting alongside of me is this dashingly handsome young lad, the young bull, Charlie Forrester.
Oh, shucks. Hello. And sitting next to me is the all but wise Smokey Joe Mays.
All but wise. That seems appropriate. All right. It's been last week, of course, was a little bit of, we had some technical issues going on. We were glad to have Jeff Pearlman join us, promoting his book, Only God Can Judge Me. We are coming to you live from the Patchouli Podcast Studio here at Patchouli Joe's Books and Indulgences in Denton, Texas. Expand your mind, indulge your senses at Patchouli Joe's. They are unofficial, well, I guess, sponsor. They're providing the space. I'm not paying you, so I guess it's, rational. But we've got, as we start rolling into week 9 of the NFL, this is, as they say, the second most wonderful time of the year. We've got NHL, Major League Baseball, National Basketball Association, and NFL, plus a little side of college football for those who like some extras on your plate.
Yeah, it's the best time of year. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You got quality baseball at the highest level. On that same coin, you have the middle of the NFL season, essentially. You're starting to see what teams are the contenders, what teams are kind of the pretenders, and then you got bad basketball and bad hockey, but to be expected at the start of the year, kind of getting the kinks out of the line. But yeah, a lot of good sports to talk about.
Absolutely. We're going to touch briefly on, Charlie mentioned baseball and some of the special baseball going on. Wednesday or Monday's game through Sunday's game 3. I
think it was Monday.
Game 3 of the World Series between the Dodgers and Toronto Blue Jays went 18 innings, tied for the longest game by innings in history. Also a Dodgers game back in 2018 against the Red Sox. They went 18 innings, although that game went 7 hours, 20 minutes, as opposed to the 6 hour, 6.5 hour, 6+, whatever.
Yeah, and also ended on a walk-off home run, just like the one in 2018 as well. But instead of Max Muncy being the hero, it was Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman delivering. But I've got to tell you, the line that was most astounding to me was, of course, the modern day Babe Ruth, Shohei Ohtani. This is his line: 2 home runs, 2 doubles, 5 walks, including 4 intentional walks. He was on base 9 times in that 18-inning game. This was after he regied in Game 4 of the NLCS with 10 strikeouts in 6 innings pitching and 3 home runs. He hit more home runs than he allowed hits in his 6 innings of pitching.
Absolutely insane.
Unbelievable. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Now, there is a strong argument to be made. Is he the greatest baseball player of all time?
I would say at this point, he has ascended to the modern Babe Ruth moniker.
Yeah, but you look at who Babe Ruth was playing.
100%, yes.
And you look at the level of competition the MLB has. What he's doing right now, I don't know, kind of overshadows what the great Bambino was doing way back when. And yeah, to do it at this big of stage is astonishing. Now, of course, he did pitch Game 4 yesterday, which, of course, if you're listening to it, today is Wednesday, the 29th. So, of course, that was Tuesday, the 28th. And he, of course, didn't look as dominant pitching as he has normally throughout this past season and in the postseason as well. But coming down the line, there's no better baseball player than Shohei Ohtani right now.
I can't argue with you. I can't argue that he is doing things against a caliber of players that Babe Ruth never had to face.
100%.
So yeah, he maybe Babe Ruth wishes he was the yonder or the Shohei Ohtani of yore.
Yeah.
Let me stumble through that one.
Yeah.
And the beauty of the World Series is, as exhausting as that Game 3 had to have been, 6 hours and 39 minutes, start to finish, 18 innings.
2 full games,
Yeah.
18 innings.
Blew through just unbelievable. There was a Game 4, and Toronto bounced back, and the series is now tied up at 2-2. And that's the beauty of the World Series. It doesn't matter how iconic or how historic a game was. There's generally going to be another one. So
yeah, and normally, the team that wins the game in one of those kind of exhausting games, rides that high into the next game, and give it up to Toronto. They really bounced back, and Vladdy Guerrero hitting that big home run against Shohei Ohtani, and the team just looked more energized than the Dodgers, and of course they were the ones that lost that marathon of a game. So it's been a good World Series so far, very competitive. Many thought this would just be a runaway for the Dodgers, and Toronto really has stepped up to the plate, and it's been really good baseball to watch.
No pun intended on the stepping up to the plate.
Yeah.
Love watching baby Vlad after having watched his father play.
100%.
It's great to see him having the level of success that he's having as well.
Yeah, though he doesn't golf for balls like his dad did.
Sure, nobody has swing like Big Vlad.
Golly,
oh my goodness,
that ball could be miles out of the strike zone, and he would still find a way to either hit it down the line or hit it over the fence. So
he would rake. He literally raked. He had no strike zone.
100%.
So yeah, we're down to a best of 3 in the Major League Baseball. So
come on, Blue Jays.
Yeah, let's go Blue Jays, because having grown up in Northern California, as a Giants and A's fan, I was first a Giants fan. One of the first things I was taught about baseball is you hate the Dodgers if you're a Giants fan. So I do. I've kept my oath. I've kept my promise, and I'll never cheer for the Dodgers.
Yeah, and nobody likes, the team that spends, boatloads of money on their roster and essentially has the advantage just because of the location they're in. So Toronto really is built from within. They've incorporated other pieces around like George Springer, but they give a different approach than what the Dodgers do, and the Dodgers essentially have backed up Brinks trucks in order to get to this point. And of course they won last year. It would just be nice to see the underdog win it.
Yeah, I am fully behind Toronto. Moving quickly, we'll jump over to the NBA. There are still, after the first week, there are still 4 undefeated teams. Undefeated is not something you generally talk about the NBA with, but the Thunder and Spurs in the West, and
surprise,
the 76ers and the Bulls in the East. Yeah, 76ers cleaned up in the draft. They're looking good.
Yeah.
But as the season kicked off, and this is something that really touched my heart on a couple of levels, we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge that A'ja Wilson and Bam Adebayo have finally made their relationship officially public. During the Hall of Fame induction, A'ja mentioned her boyfriend who went to Kentucky, which not a great joke, but it's still a good poke at Kentucky.
That SEC rivalry.
Absolutely. South Carolina spitting on Kentucky. But I have 2 questions. Number one is sort of hypothetical or rhetorical. Can you imagine the talent of that child? You mentioned earlier that Bam is almost certainly not the most talented player in that relationship.
Oh, certainly not. And that's no disrespect to Bam. Bam's still one of the best big men in the game. But of course, whenever you look at the WNBA, there's not a better player than A'ja Wilson.
Yeah, A'ja, I think, is going to, when all is said and done, she will almost certainly be the most decorated WNBA player of all time. She's running 3 championships, 4 NBA MVPs,
Yeah.
5 all WNBA. She's one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, 100%.
Second question is a little more specific and a little more literal. If this continues, and if Asia and Bam have a child that grows up to have the type of athletic ability that I believe this child would demonstrate, my question is, which NBA team will the Lakers screw over to get this player, get this child?
Well, you know how the Lakers love nepotism. I think it's between them and the Knicks that probably have the most nepotism in the National Basketball Association.
That's fair.
Yeah, but I don't know. Of course, how connected Bama's been to the Miami Heat. Of course, this is to say that Pat Riley never goes away and stays within the Miami Heat for this long. But you know, it could be Miami.
And I think there are 2 teams that Pat Riley loves destroying more than any other. One is the Knicks, his former team. The other, the Lakers.
Yeah,
so
100%.
Yeah,
and I think in that order as well.
I think so. Although given the opportunity to undercut or undermine a trade and of a hypothetical child that doesn't exist yet, yeah, that's long down the road.
But gosh, I hope they have a girl because, of course, the way Asia Wilson is, you know, to be able to have, you know, kind of that lineage be passed on. I think that'd be pretty cool for the WNBA as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. She is poetry in motion. She is a joy to watch.
Yeah. Closest thing to Lisa Leslie we've seen. So.
Absolutely. And ironically, she won the Lisa Leslie Award.
Yeah.
There's a story in the news we'll come back to, I think, next week. We've got a lot to talk about today. So I won't bog down. It has to do with load management. Michael Jordan came out.
We're still talking about that?
Yeah, and he's
And Michael Jordan's still talking?
He is. He's still talking, and now, of course, he played in 82 regular season games 9 times in his 15 seasons, played at least 78 games in 12 of his 15. But I don't know that I think he's something of a freak. And, you know, anyway, we can talk more about that, but that's not the modern NBA.
Well, somebody needs to talk to Michael Jordan about the FBI investigation with gambling.
There you go.
Because I think he would have a little bit more to say than load management. Sure, I get, we played, you know, 82 game seasons and, you know, you should put forth, you know, your best effort whenever you go on to an NBA court. But this is the modern NBA and, you know, playing a full game season, you know, for older players, they break down.
Sure.
And so prolonging really great players and having, really good playoff matchups. You know, I feel like we're still seeing, really good, you know, teams that last all the way through the regular season to playoffs, and not have to get crippled by injuries. And I feel like load management has helped that. So I just feel like this is another thrust of Michael Jordan just wanting to get into the spotlight and kind of throw shade at the modern NBA because, of course, he's the greatest to ever do it. So.
Do you know how many times Kobe played all 82 games of a season?
I would be surprised if he,
Zero. Never.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'd be surprised if he did it ever.
Yeah. He did not. 11 players last year played 82 games in the NBA. None of them were all-stars. The only all-star who the most games played by an all-star was James Harden. He played 79, and the average number of games played is 74, a little over 74 for all of the all-stars from last year.
Did Kobe ever take 3 years off to go figure out if he liked a hobby or not?
Well, that's the question is will Terry Rozier be required to go play minor league baseball for a couple of years?
Exactly.
While this is going on.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder if Michael's trying to distract a little bit from some of the other news in the NBA right now.
I wonder. It's not like he ever had any sort of gambling allegations against him.
None whatsoever. He's all clean.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, we're moving on to the NBA's just getting rolling. Go ahead, Charlie.
I feel like I gotta mention it, just because we are into the experience that is Luka Doncic being over in LA.
We are.
So, of course, from the Maverick side of things, I'm a big Mavs fan. Love to see them starting out essentially stuck in the mud. Can't figure out how to play offensive basketball. Defense wins championships. I guess offense wins regular season games. Um, and then, of course, on the other side of the coin, you got Luka, who essentially came out the gate dropping 40 points on back-to-back games. But then, of course, has dealt with what we saw a little bit of in Dallas, a little bit of a hand injury. And so it's always something. So, yeah, just how are you feeling about your Lakers to start out the season?
I think the Lakers are going to be fun to watch. You've also had Austin
Reeves?
Austin Reeves already dropped 50 plus. He
Oh,
dropped
100%.
51. One
How
game
Dallas didn't get him in the trade.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely asinine.
I think he was one of the Pelinka had made that clear that he was off limits. He was not open to be traded.
And
now,
so should have been 77.
One would have thought that Nico would have done the same thing in Dallas, but yeah, apparently he wasn't aware he could do that.
Yeah. No, he settled for Max Christie.
Yeah.
Max Christie was the guy. And how much have we seen Max Christie throughout these first couple games with Dallas? Not much. And yeah, he arguably is one of the better offensive players that we got. But there's no cohesiveness within the Dallas Mavs right now.
With the Lakers, I think they're going to be entertaining to watch. Any team with Luke is going to be entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be awkward when LeBron comes back, when you've got both LeBron and Luka. They showed last year they could play well together.
Yeah.
Not sure what that's going to look like for an entire season. You've got Austin Reeves. You've got some role players. I don't think there's enough there in order for them to make playoffs, or maybe if they scrape into the playoffs, but they're certainly not going to win the West.
Oh, you don't think the Lakers will win the West?
I don't. I think you're looking at a team in Houston, Oklahoma City, even San Antonio. Their drafts were solid. They've got good. I mean, Oklahoma City, I watched them play. So I can't remember who they played. It was one of the first couple of games of the year.
Because they just got finished playing the Mavs.
Yeah, and it was the night of their ring ceremony. Was that the Mavs?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. They have not missed a beat. They jumped immediately back into exactly what they were doing to win last year. They're going to be tough to beat in the West, I think. And I think Houston's ascending. I think KD's got some stuff to prove. I think with Wemby down in San Antonio, you've got some juggernauts, I think, in the West.
Yeah, and that's fair with OKC and San Antonio, just because the way that you can, I feel like, affect the Lakers is with the size.
Yep.
And so, of course, OKC is one of the bigger teams, and we're talking about a generational player that is Wemby. Don't know if there's any basketball player that truthfully can stop him.
Yeah, and he gained strength this year. He's much more seemingly solid in his base.
Yeah.
He's
and can dribble the ball like a point guard.
Yep.
Can get basically any shot he wants. Step back threes, which at that size should be illegal.
Well, you know who else is flashing signs of that with impeccable handles and that step back three, and that's
Cooper Flag?
Yeah, Cooper Flag. Sorry, I kept wanting to say Cooper Cup, and it's like, that's not right.
Yeah.
Don't say that, Joe. Yeah, Cooper Flag. I don't think he has the court vision yet enough. He should not be the primary ball handler.
No, that's the issue. Is they're trying to play him at point forward,
and he's not ready for that.
And not once in his upbringing has he ever really played point forward.
Yeah.
But of course, the mismanagement that is the Dallas Mavs front office, essentially they don't have a quality point guard on roster. They signed D'Angelo Russell, but yet they have essentially tried to make him a sixth man, even whenever you're so depleted at the position.
Yep.
And so, yeah, they're playing so many players out of their true positions. And, of course you're not seeing cohesive offense. And Cooper's looked nice, but if you're depending on him to be the bucket getter, you're in for for a bumpy ride,
I
especially early on in his career.
Well, I think he'd be much more effective as just the bucket getter
Yeah,
than having to be the primary handler
right.
coming up the court every play or even every other play.
It's like wanting Kevin Durant to be the point guard.
Yeah,
You know, Kevin Durant still needs a guard to essentially put him in good position. And not to say he can't carry the ball up the court, but if you're asking him to do it 80, 90% of the game,
he's
he's
gonna
not going to get the quality shot
exactly.
like he could off the ball.
Now the other thing back to the Lakers real quick. The one thing that they are not is fast, and I think the game it's critical the way the game is played today is to have that spacing on the floor, which means you've got to have that constant movement. It's got to be quick. It's got to be fast. You got to be fast up the court. And I just don't see that as a Lakers strength. So that's
Yeah,
why
definitely
part
not.
of the reason I don't see them going very far. If they do make the playoffs, I don't think they're going to go very far.
And that's the one downside with a Luka-led team
Yep.
is that it's going to be very ball dominant, and he's not the quickest. But you want to talk about somebody that has arguably the best court vision in the
Yeah.
game. Luckily you got him. So in the half court kind of offense, it's pick your poison, and especially if Austin Reeves, is going to be able to also be a shot creator and of course a catch and shoot guy. Um, yeah, they might be they might be hard to beat coming down the stretch.
They've got to have a rebounder. They've got to have somebody. Aiton may be able to fill up some minutes, but I don't think he's going to be a dominant rebound getter.
No. He never has been.
Yeah. So I just don't have real. I'm looking forward to watching him play. I think it's going to be fun. Kind of curious to see the direction Palenka is going to take this team, but I don't see them there this year. I think we'll be sitting at home watching the playoffs together.
Yeah, I like your team's chances better than mine, but I want this Bunsen burner to be turned up all the way to as high as it can get for Nico Harrison.
Yeah.
And until he's gone, I hope the Mavs continue to suffer, and that's from a lifelong Mavs fan, and I will continue being a Mavs fan before and after Nico Harrison.
Yeah, I got you. Understand that. I've been there before. What do you say? You want to move to the NFL?
Yeah. Let's go to another team that hurts us.
Yeah. Well, we want to get into the trade deadline is next Tuesday, and I want to get into Charlie's Rumorooskies.
Yes.
And get his top five. But a couple of notes. We had a double loss in the Raider family over the past week. On October 24th, Carol Davis, the widow of Al Davis and Mark's mother, passed away at the age of 93 in October of 24. It's little known, but when Al passed, she stepped in, and Al's intent all along was to turn the team over to Carol. She filled a role when they were alive. She was the one who sort of kept him in check when he was from doing crazy things, particularly in negotiating with the city, in Oakland in particular. On September 21st, 2020, she lit the Al Davis Memorial Torch prior to the Raiders' first ever game at Allegiant. We were fortunate enough to have been to that torch, and your mom and I are going again here in a couple of weeks.
So cool.
For the Cowboys Raiders Monday night game. And then in 2021, she presented former Raider coach Tom Flores for induction to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which was long overdue in my opinion. But yeah, so farewell, Carol. She was a tremendous steward and advocate of the Raiders. She was certainly every bit as much a part of the family as Al was.
Mm-hmm.
Additionally, this past Monday, Raider great George the Hitman Atkinson passed away at the age of 78. He was drafted in the 7th round out of Morris Brown College in 1968. Do you know where Morris Brown College is?
I don't know.
Nobody knows where Morris Brown College is. I'm not sure that George Atkinson, no, he knew. Of course he knew. Morris Brown is a historically black liberal arts college in Atlanta, founded in 1881 by the African Methodist Episcopal Church. And it's places like that Al Davis hunted for talent. That's where he went looking for players. He was an early pioneer of that. And George Atkinson was a proud member of historically African-American, historically black schools. But the thing that he was most, or one of the things he was most proud of, he was the final living member of the Raiders Soul Patrol. And there's a little trip back down memory lane, a little bit of history of the NFL. The Soul Patrol was the first all-black secondary in NFL history. In addition to Atkinson, Willie Brown, Skip Thomas, and Jack the Assassin Tatum were the starting defensive backfield for the Raiders. First all-black secondary. And because of the Soul Patrol, the NFL created the 5-yard chuck rule to limit contact down the field. That's a direct result of the Oakland Raiders and the Soul Patrol.
Yeah, one of the best secondaries. If you got Tatum and Hayes, and no disrespect to the late great Atkinson, but yeah, that secondary was nasty back in the day.
That one, I look at that one. I look at the 49ers secondary in the 80s. That was unbelievable.
With Ronnie Lott as a corner instead of a safety?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before he slowed down and had to move to safety.
Yeah.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the Raiders I grew up in, or grew up with. George Atkinson was drafted the year that I became a Raiders fan, 1968. So we've had, again, the Raiders family bids farewell to two of its icons. Max Crosby has nothing but good things to say about George Atkinson. Said he just promoted and encouraged him and held him accountable to the Raider way, which is in part why Max is the player he is today.
Heck yeah. Yeah, once a Raider, always a Raider.
Amen to that. Okay, let's jump in. You have, let's want to hear, do you have some rumorooskies? Anything you're hearing out of the trade?
Now, it's not really a rumor, but what has came down the pike today, what would you say is too old for the NFL? Specifically at tight end. How old do you think you can play at tight end in the NFL?
Effectively, I'm going to draw a line at 35.
Oh, okay.
You can milk maybe a couple more years out as a decoy, but I think you're going to peak. You're going to do nothing but go downhill fast from about 34 to 35.
Well, Mercedes Lewis would like to essentially come at you for that. He has signed a deal with the Denver Broncos. He has joined the practice squad with the intention of being elevated to the regular game roster. So Mercedes Lewis at the age of 41 is still playing tight end in the National Football League.
I remember when he came out of college, he seemed to play forever. I'm not going to lie. I thought he was my age.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Mercedes Lewis keeping on doing it. Yeah. Which, hey, if you got it, continue to get it.
Absolutely. I tell you, if I had the opportunity to get out there today, I would go out there and take a pounding.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Still collecting those checks. But in regards to some rumors, of course, what is looking likely is that there's essentially not a player on the Jets roster that's not available. I've been hearing some things about Quinnen Williams, a lot of teams looking to trade for the Pro Bowl defensive tackle. There's a couple other good pieces on that roster. I would think the only one that really is untouchable would be Sauce Gardner.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that would arguably be the only one. And then a couple other kind of trade rumors to come out. Of course, it looks like the depleted San Francisco 49ers have shown interest in the somewhat hurt Trey Hendrickson. I know Dallas has also sniffed around that area. The things that I've saw with Dallas, though, is that they've called both on Max Crosby and Trey Hendrickson, and much like Jerry Jones in the negotiations, he is lowballing. So they have been told very politely to GTFO, and so those are just a few. Of course, we had a cornerback trade in the NFL. Michael Carter from the Jets is going to the Philadelphia Eagles. for John Mechie.
Eagles always do it every year. They dip in and find a way to make their team better.
Yeah, no matter what the record is, they can be struggling, and of course, a trade will come down the works. They can be 6-2 and still be looking to add pieces. So yeah, a round of applause for Howie Roseman right there. But
So
yeah,
got ahead of myself a little bit.
of course, that we're foreshadowing for, of course, next week when the trade deadline comes around. Of course, we got a feeling the competing teams will start to look to add, and of course, those that are essentially punting on the season will start to unload. So there could be some names floating around.
Who do you think the biggest buyer is going to be? Obviously, Philadelphia. I expected that with Howie Roseman. I mean, that's just kind of a given.
Yeah.
But who else do you think are going to be the biggest buyers between now and next Tuesday?
If I had to say, I'd probably say New England.
Yeah.
New England's sitting with the most cap space.
Mhm.
They have a lot of flexibility. Young roster, still on a rookie quarterback deal. Of course, you're starting to see Drake May take a couple next steps. So getting more talent around him. I've seen some things, and this will hurt every Trevion Henderson fantasy owner, but they've been looking around for running back help. I could see them also going after a defensive tackle like Jeffrey Simmons.
Mhm.
Of course, Mike Vrabel used to coach him in Tennessee. They could sniff around for a cornerback as well. So I think New England would be the number one. And then, of course, the desperation that is the Dallas Cowboys, I could see them also sniffing around with the second most cap space in the NFL.
Yeah, I could definitely see the Cowboys. I don't think they're out of it. It's been a rocky season, but I think that given if they can plug some holes on defense, they may be able to get a ride. But
There's so many holes though, and that's the main thing is like, are they one player away? Is
yeah,
this
no,
one player, that you're going to trade for? Say, for example, if they pried, Trey Hendrickson out of Cincinnati, does he make that defense significantly better? I don't think so. You're not going to get essentially, one of your top paid cornerbacks back, probably for the rest of the year. There's a whole big story with that.
yeah,
Um,
Diggs, yeah,
yeah.
that what a weird IR move.
Well, he
That
got
was
hurt.
bizarre.
He
Yeah,
wouldn't rehab with the team. The team got offended by that. He reports to the Cowboys, and they force him into action, and kind of have not eased him along, because, of course, they are discontent with how he handled the offseason.
Mhm.
And essentially, his play really has suffered for the first couple weeks. And then just miraculously, he ends up bumping his head. We don't really know what happened
At
at home.
home. Yeah.
But of course, they've sent him home, and there's rumor he's not really going to play. And if you ask his old friend Micah Parsons, Micah Parsons went on record last week essentially saying how they have mishandled him throughout the offseason and into the regular season, that he would be shocked if Trayvon continues to play
Well,
for
if
the
I'm not
Cowboys.
mistaken, didn't he go on IR for the knee rather than it was a weird combination, a weird
Well, it was for a
timing.
concussion.
He hit his head, but usually you don't put a player on the IR
IR for
for
concussion. Yep.
concussion protocol because the expectation is that they're going to be back and ready within, sooner than 4 weeks.
Yep.
So, and I thought Jerry said something about the knee as opposed to the head. It's just weird.
Yep.
Just
Well, I think Diggs is kind of done with the Cowboys, and is still collecting a lot of money. And
yeah.
luckily, the way that they structured the deal, there's an out after this year, and if he's not moved by the deadline, I unfortunately think we've seen the last of number 7 in Dallas.
That's what I get for buying a jersey. Over on the silver and black side of things, it looks like Jacoby Myers is maybe going to be on the market. They seem to be shopping him around with Tyler Lockett coming into Las Vegas. Very similar type receivers. I could see the Raiders being able to pull some at least some draft picks with Jacoby Myers. I think their receiver room maybe a year away from being really good, even without Jacoby Myers. So that may be what they're doing, is trying to buy a year to get the rest of their receiver room up, and letting sorry about the beeps.
Yeah, and I feel like the Tyler Lockett is not more for production, whereas it's more for the locker room.
Yeah.
Because that's a vet leader, and if you trade away, one of your top vets with that young of a wide receiver core, you kind of need one of the old heads there to kind of right the ship.
Yeah.
And of course, there's a lot of young talent on that Las Vegas Raider wide receiver room. You got year 2 Trey Tucker, you got rookie Dante Thornton, you got rookie Jack Betch. So you need some sort of old head in there to kind of still show the ropes and be there for film session and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
So
show a team how to win.
right.
Yeah.
And if you're going to trade away a player like Jacoby, you kind of need that veteran presence. And I feel like that's kind of what they were shooting for with Amari whenever they signed him,
Yeah.
before he decided to retire. So, yeah, it's cool to see Tyler Lockett, of course, reunite with Pete Carroll. But I would be remiss to think it's going to be anything of substance on the field.
Sure.
More it's behind the scenes work.
Yeah, and that's really, frankly, there's a lot of cultural changes that have to be made in Las Vegas. I think they're in the process of being made. It's not a flip the switch kind of thing. I just hope they don't do anything stupid like letting Max go. I think Max needs to stay there. He's part of the solution, not part of the problem. So
yeah, unless you want to get picks,
yeah,
yeah. But
at what cost? And yeah,
trust me.
Yeah,
Trust me.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me.
All right, well, that is the Rumorooski session for the week, and I have just discovered the sidebar that has all of these sounds. So y'all, I hope you get used to that. So,
heck yeah!
There you go. That was for the Rumorooski.
Hey, sick.
Do you got a top 5?
Yeah. So
let's talk top 5.
Yeah, let's go into the top 5. Let me pull up the top 5 of last week. So my top 5, I believe.
I don't think
last
this is
week
updated.
I was operating with the Colts being the number 1. What I've seen from this past week, I don't think that can change. I still got the Colts number 1. Same with number 2. I feel like the Buffalo Bills, they didn't play last week. No movement there. They're still just as dominant. Offensively, and I think defensively, they're rounded into shape. Of course, losing Ed Oliver is going to be kind of a hard thing to deal with, specifically on that interior defensive line. But Buffalo still sits in my number 2 seed. Number 3 doesn't change for me either. I still got the Denver Broncos. They look just as dominant versus Dallas. Essentially shut down the run game against Dallas, which of course hurt Dak Prescott. I just think that defense is arguably the best in the National Football League. And if the offense can be, any sort of manageable, they have a bright future ahead.
I tell you, the thing that scares me about Denver, not the thing that I hate about Denver, there's a lot of those, but the thing that scares me about Denver is their offense. That Bo Nix seems to find the most inopportune time to do damage to the offense, playing behind the sticks, throwing picks, missing guys in the open.
100%.
I think he's going to be a long, 15-year starter, Pro Bowler in the NFL. I think he's still making some second-year adjustments. It's hard to remember that he's just second year.
Right.
But he still makes some mistakes that I wouldn't, again, were I a betting man, I don't know that I'd put money on Denver for that alone.
Yeah, that's fair. More, I just feel like that defense is what makes me feel like Denver is going to just stay competitive. The one thing about Bo Nix is he doesn't light you up on the stat sheet, but his turnover differential. He does a pretty decent job at making sure that ball security is big. And if you have a quarterback that can just game manage, kind of like a Jared Goff, with a strong defense, that really bodes well. And of course, you saw last week with Dallas, RJ Harvey coming to the mix. Of course, they still got J.K. Dobbins. So if they can get any sort of semblance in the run game, I think that's just going to benefit Bo Nix down the road.
Sure.
Um,
Take some of the pressure off of him. So, yeah.
yeah. Now I will have a new team that cracks into my top five. Philadelphia is going to move to my number 5 seed.
Fair.
I'm just still not sold of what I'm seeing from Philly. But what is moving into my top 4 and probably should have been there all along is Kansas City.
I don't know. I disagree that they should have been there all along. They had to climb in and show that they belonged in your top 5.
Yeah. Yeah, and they're looking absolutely dominant.
Yep.
Specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, the running game is still the thing that might hurt them. But if that's one team that I look at in the trade deadline, potentially trying to find some sort of player in the running back room that can help them with Pacheco being hurt. And of course, Kareem Hunt's not getting any younger. So yeah, Kansas City moves into my top 5, and I will say one team that's knocking on the door, and if Philadelphia continues to struggle, I will say I've been pleasantly surprised with how Green Bay is starting to look. Jordan Love looked absolutely dominant against that most expensive defense in the National Football League in Pittsburgh. And I think if Green Bay's defense continues to mold into shape and Josh Jacobs can stay healthy, that team could be dangerous once we get into December, moving into the playoffs in January.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that is the Young Bull top 5, Power 5 of the week.
Hey,
round of applause.
More applause. My goodness.
Get some applause, man.
My goodness.
There you go.
My head is just going to go through the roof.
Yeah, and I think our listens are going to drop through the floor if I keep playing with these.
But Julie Jones is going to need to find a roofer because I'm going to be going straight to the stars, you know?
There you go, man. Well, you do good stuff. You mentioned the Packers. They are, of course, leading in the NFC North at 5-1-1. That end one is just kind of lingering out there, and I just have a feeling it's going to bite them in the ass at the end of the year. Detroit just half game back at 5-2. In the East, of course, you mentioned the Eagles. They're at 6-2. Cowboys and Washington right behind them, but they each only have 3 wins.
Yeah.
So beginning to wonder if there's going to be a second team come out of the East into the playoffs. Buccaneers, somehow with all their injuries, they're still sitting at 6-2. Carolina is in second place, 2 games back at 4-4. The West is still the wild, wild West, NFC West. Seahawks and Rams are atop the division at 5-2. The Niners a half game back at 5-3. And the 49ers and the Bucks, this is the thing that caught my eye. The 49ers and the Bucks need the bye more than anyone right now.
Oh, I agree with that.
Tampa's got, with all their injuries, Tampa's got a bye this week. Perfect timing. Gives them an opportunity to get some of their guys healthy, come back for the second half of the season, start really pushing, for their playoff push.
Yep.
The 49ers don't get their bye until week 14. So they're going to continue playing with bubblegum and baling wire, trying to keep a team on the field through another 5 weeks. Is that going to be too late to do them any good?
Now, in that division, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I could see the Rams and Seahawks running away with that division and leaving the 49ers just no way to catch up.
But I will say they stole that one game against the Rams already. So that really has helped them. Yeah, they're slowly but surely getting healthy. Now Brock Purdy probably is about a week away. But of course you got Kittle back. Miraculously, Christian McCaffrey has stayed healthy. And then of course you got Juwan Jennings back. And then, probably a couple weeks away from Ricky Pearsall being back. So, essentially there's bright days ahead. And honestly, that, week 14, actually might help them for a playoff push.
If they can hold it together between now and then, getting a break with 4 weeks left before rolling into the playoffs. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah,
it might help. But of course, week 14, it's just, insane that there's a bye week that late.
Yeah,
But I think with a team that has encountered that many injuries to be, right there in it, it's been pretty surprising.
yeah, and that week 14 buys the Panthers, the Patriots, the Giants, and the 49ers.
That defense is what concerns me because that's the one that those injuries are not going to be fixed by the end of the year.
Yep.
Of course, Fred Warner being hurt, Nick Bosa being hurt. Yeah, there's a lot of injuries on that side of the ball. That's long term instead of short term.
Yeah. Over in the AFC, the North is somehow Pittsburgh is still top the crappy division. They're on a 2-game losing streak, and everybody else is under 500 in that division. What is their record? They're 4-3, and they're 2 games ahead or 2.5 games ahead of everybody else in the Cincinnati, who's in second place.
And that amount of money they've spent on a defense to have essentially Joe Flacco run through it, Jordan Love run through it. Yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, they'll probably win the division because the rest of that division just stinks of sour foot.
Yeah, I don't know. Baltimore might be making a little push, and Cincinnati, if they can keep Joe Flacco healthy, could potentially mess things up for him as well.
Baltimore has a hell of a climb. They're at 2-5.
Yep.
Of course, Lamar is supposed to be back. If you're listening to this Friday, tonight against the Dolphins in Miami.
Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see if they can turn it around. They'll have to turn it. They'll have to turn this season around. I'm trying to come up with a Lamar Jackson metaphor where they'll have to stop and turn it around quicker than Lamar Jackson had. Yeah, I don't forget it. Should have had that prepared in advance.
Yeah, they got to be agile.
There you go.
You got to stay on your toes whenever you're 2-5.
They got to be as nimble as Lamar doing some Lamar shit.
Yeah. Can't just sit there in the pocket and expect, good things to happen.
Yeah.
Kind of got to go take it.
Well, and they're poised. I think they've got the talent. Of course, we were high on them during the preseason. Then injuries bit them right smack in the ass like a lot of other teams. But
and
yeah,
hate to see it, but whenever you got Cooper Rush outside of Dallas, that's what you get. And they essentially decided to go with Cooper Rush instead of Huntley to essentially start the year as the backup. And yeah, they kind of reaped what they sowed. And then Huntley, of course, comes in versus Chicago and tears them up.
Yep.
And he fits that system so much better.
He knows the offense. How long has he been there?
Well, and the offense is tailored to one of the most mobile quarterbacks.
Yep.
So to go and try to fit a pocket passer like Cooper Rush in, it just, was not smart management there. But yeah, I think if there's a team that can make things interesting, maybe just disrupt things within that division, Baltimore is slowly but surely starting to round into shape.
Yeah, like I said, they've got a tall hill to climb, but I can absolutely see them as a disruptor going down the back half of the season.
Yep.
In the South, Colts, of course, running away with things at 7-1.
Dominant.
Looking like they may be trying to make a run for a 1 seed in the AFC. It's a tall order.
Offensive line still matters.
Yep. So we'll see. They've got Jonathan Taylor, in my opinion, he's definitely in the top 3 to 5 players for Offensive Player of the Year.
Easily.
Yeah, he's killing it. Indiana Jones is doing all the things he couldn't do in New York because they didn't have the talent around him.
Yep.
Michael Pittman, it's
and that defense is nasty.
Yes, it is. So
can stop the run, really good against the pass. So yeah, they're well rounded.
I could see them making a run for the 1 seed in the AFC. Out west, Denver leads the division. They've climbed to the top of the hill. They're at 6-2 for now. Chargers and Chiefs both 1 game behind at 5-3.
Yep.
And we talked earlier, Kansas City seems poised to make a run. They're healthy on offense. Is there enough defense? But yeah, I can see the West. We said that at the beginning of the year. There's going to be AFC West is going to be an entertaining division. So yeah, I think that's proving to be true.
Yep. It's lived up to the hype.
Back east, let's go to want to dive down into a little bit more, and I know we got to get to our picks, but I want to talk a little bit about right now in the East, Patriots are 6-2 leading the division. Bills are at 5-2 coming off their bye. The Pats schedule, I looked through their schedule. Falcons at home, Bucks in Tampa, Jets at home, Bengals on the road, Giants at home, Bills at home, at Baltimore, at the Jets, Dolphins in Foxborough. As I went through and realistically counted, I think that's 6 wins out of those remaining games.
Yeah.
Those remaining 9 games, possibly more. 6 wins puts them at 12. That 12 wins on the year. And they're going to be getting the Bucks win here, not this week, next week, or their next game, while they're still a little bit banged up.
Yep.
And then Bills and the Ravens they'll have to deal with.
Yep.
The Bills.
That's the toughest stretch, is that Bills Ravens.
Yeah, absolutely. Go Giants, Bills, Giants at home, and then Bills at home and Ravens in Baltimore in late in the year. It's going to be cold. It's going to be nasty. Baltimore fans are going to be on them. So anyway, but I can see them getting to, that wasn't one of the 6 wins I counted. So I can see them getting to 12 possibly on the year. The Bills schedule, they're sitting at 5-2, going through their schedule. They've got the Chiefs at home this week, at Miami, Bucks at home, at Houston, at Steelers, Bengals at home, at New England, at Cleveland, Eagles at home, and then against the Jets in Buffalo. And by my count, that looks like 7 probables.
Yep.
That puts them at 12 wins.
Yep.
So my point in all this, having gone round my backside to get to my elbow, as my dad used to say, using slightly more colorful language, this is going to come down to the wire. I think the AFC East is going to be between the Bills and the Patriots. We're going to find out whether Drake May is for real, or if, as cousin Sal insists on the Bill Simmons podcast, this is Drake maybe in a second-year quarterback. We'll see if he's really stepping up. Like you said earlier, he's upped his game. Absolutely.
100%. He's definitely taken a next step.
And he's playing top 3 to 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. So does he have what it takes to run through this schedule? And yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch down the wire.
Yeah, I agree. And if they can steal a game versus Buffalo, that is New England, that could really bode well for him because, like you just mentioned, Buffalo's got kind of an easy schedule, much like New England does, but there's not really room for error. So Buffalo, they've looked good, but if they continue to put up performances like they showed versus Atlanta, I think New England might capitalize off of that.
And they've already beat the Bills once.
Yeah.
So that's one of their 6 now. So
if it comes to a tiebreaker and they win another one,
yeah,
then yeah, that would really bode well.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is going to be an interesting one down the stretch. They've got the Bills in Foxborough, so yeah,
helps to be in a weak division too.
Absolutely, yeah. They're not going to have to worry about Miami or the
Nope.
Jets coming after them.
100%.
All right, you ready to jump into picks?
Let's do it.
Yeah, we went long on that. We had talked a little baseball, little NBA. It's that time of year, man.
Best time of year. Sports.
It's the second most wonderful time of the year.
Sports are all around us.
Amen.
And we are consuming.
All right, Thursday night this week. We are, by the way, let me check in on our picks for the year. I told you we were targeting 650 winning percentage. We got some work to do, Charlie. You are 70-48 on the year for a 593 winning percentage. I am nipping at your heels, 68-47, because I had the 3 IDCs. Fewer IDCs as the season goes along, not surprisingly. I'm at 591, so I am 2 1,000ths of a point behind you. So, yeah, don't stumble, man.
Oh, I'll try not to, but any given Sunday.
You know I'm going to stumble down the line.
Any given Sunday.
All right, so this week, Thursday night, Baltimore at Miami. Baltimore's favored by 7.5 on the road. And against Miami, that seems reasonable.
Yeah, Miami is just, they're bad. Yeah. They're really bad. Bad coached, bad play. There's not much to write home about besides the lovely city that is Miami. Yeah, I got Baltimore going in and basically taking this as a vacation. I think especially if you get a healthy Lamar Jackson, it'll look pretty dominant. Even if you don't, I still feel like you could run all over this Miami defense, and I feel like, of course, Baltimore is built to run the game. I think it's going to be a big day for Derrick Henry and company. So I got them winning 30-17. And how much longer is Miami going to ride this to experience out before they decide to see what they got in Quinn Ewers?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to do that before too many more weeks go by.
Yeah.
I've got the Ravens winning this as well, 24-17. I think the Ravens offense is going to rely on the run, take some of the pressure off of Lamar, let him get reacclimated back in the pocket. I mean, he's a veteran. He knows what he's doing. But I think the offense is going to take some time to get their timing back. So I think they're going to rely on the run. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring offense out of Baltimore than we're going to see here in a couple of weeks. But I've got them taking this easily, 24-17.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, moving on to Sunday, we have the 49ers going into New Jersey to play the Giants. 49ers only favored by 2.5 on the road.
Yeah, you almost wonder if that line was given before the Cam Scattaboo injury.
No, this is since then. No,
Yeah,
let me check this, see if
I
there's
don't
a
get it
refresh.
then. Because I feel like he was the heart and soul of that offense. It's going to be hard to have a rookie quarterback be able to go up, of course, and throw to your second best wide receiver, your second best running back, and of course. It's not like the offensive line, is anything but dominant. I think if New York's going to have any shot, it is, of course, being able to affect the pass
Mm-hmm.
and shutting down the run with New York. I still got San Fran winning the ball game 24-20, even without Brock Purdy playing. I just feel like San Fran is just a little bit better, of course, health-wise than New York is.
As of 6:12 p.m. Central Time on Wednesday, the 29th of October, 49ers still favored by 2.5 over the Giants on the road.
Shocking.
I think Mac Jones has done a serviceable job filling in for Brock Purdy, not letting the wheels fall off completely. He'll forever be Mac Jones. He's not going to be Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes. He is what he is. And he's Carson Wentz, but yeah,
Mm,
maybe anyway, we like to play comps.
yeah,
We'll have to work that into the cast here one of these days.
that's totally fair.
Anyway, I've got the 49ers winning this on the road fairly handily, 27-20. I think Jackson Dart has a point to make. I think the team is going to be fired up, ready to play, but I just don't think they have enough hosses, particularly with Malik Neighbors and Scadaboo out there. Yeah, not going to pull it off.
Yeah, and if I was New York, I'd be trading. I'd be trying to get some sort of offensive weapon to help out Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Especially if Brian Daboll is trying to save his job. Yeah, they need help offensively.
Absolutely. Next up, also a noon game. The Chargers going to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. Chargers are favored by 9.5 on the road. That's a big chunk,
Yeah.
but it's the right chunk.
Poor Tennessee. Tennessee, of course, after you fire your head coach, you essentially punt on the rest of the year. They look bad with, of course, Brian Callahan, and they haven't looked much better with Mike McCoy.
Yeah.
The only bright spot that I've seen with Tennessee is that Tajay Spears is back and is kind of slowly but surely taking over that running back room. No disrespect to Pollard. Pollard might be a trade candidate. Could definitely see him ending up if New England's trying to trade for a player. But specifically with Tajay Spears coming back, gives that offense a little bit more firepower. But I think it's going to be too much for this Chargers team. I got the Chargers winning 28-17. That offense looks like it's clicking on all cylinders. If they can get Amari and Hampton back, they could potentially make a run.
Yeah, I've got the Chargers winning this as well, but I think they're gonna be running all over the place. I've got them taking this 37-14, even though it's a noon game coming from the West Coast.
Sheesh, 37-14. My
Yeah, I
goodness.
just don't see anything in Tennessee. So
Yeah.
and I think that they're starting to check out a little bit.
Yeah.
Next up, going up to the NFC North, Minnesota at Detroit. Minnesota with their quarterback kerfuffle, I
Yeah,
guess you'd
who's going to
say.
play? Is it going to be JJ?
McCoy, yeah, JJ's back. There,
JJ McCarthy's
yeah.
back. Okay.
Carson's done.
Yeah.
JJ's back. Yeah, I don't know who they've got as backup, but
Yeah.
behind JJ. But yeah, we've got Detroit favored by 8.5 at home, which doesn't seem like enough against Minnesota.
Yeah, Detroit's clicking on all cylinders as well. Of course, they just paid Aiden Hutchinson. Um, and yeah, that offense looks just as good. They got a strong run game. Defensively, they can affect teams as well. I got a feeling Detroit is just going to absolutely slobber knock this Miami Vikings team. So I got them winning 27-16.
Same description, different score, 34-13. Detroit, I think, is ready to go on a tear through the North. Packers better watch their heels because Detroit, I think, is starting to hit its groove a little bit.
Yeah, can't wait to watch that matchup whenever Green Bay goes up against Detroit again.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun game to watch. The less fun, perhaps, is going to be an Atlanta team on the road against and going up to Foxborough to play the Patriots. New England is favored by 5.5 at home, and I don't think we have a clue who the hell's going to play quarterback for the Falcons. Last week, the expectation was that Michael Penix was going to be out there. I don't think it was specifically said, but lo and behold, Kirk Cousins rolls out there and just positively shit the bed.
Yeah.
Just did all of the worst possible Kirk Cousins things he could do without any of the good Kirk Cousins things.
It was like, what did you say? It was like they're the most Jekyll and Hyde team.
Yeah. And they are so dramatically different at home than they are on the road.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the thing that's so, and a young team that's actually not too horribly surprising.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just absolutely looked. Yeah.
Yeah.
Terrible.
If you got Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, you're not essentially going to be able to win big games. Luckily, this game is at noon. And historically speaking, Kirk Cousins does well in those time slots. So that might be a little bit of benefit to Atlanta, but I still think New England's going to win this ball game. I got it being close. I think it's going to be 24-23. Bijan probably will make it a little bit of a competitive game, but I definitely got New England winning this ball game.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. I think it's going to be a little bit closer than expected. New England's been playing high on emotion for several weeks, out there showing themselves. They've got an Atlanta team that they might not. This could be a trap. I don't expect that there's enough Atlanta there going to be on the road. I don't think there's going to be enough Atlanta going to Foxborough to knock the Patriots off, but I think it is going to be a little bit closer than one might expect. I've got the Patriots winning this one 27-21.
Yeah.
And that's assuming Michael Penix plays. If it's Kirk Cousins, then Katie barred the door.
Yes.
And it's Atlanta on the road, so the Patriots may score 76. Next up, Indianapolis, the one-loss Indianapolis Colts going down to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Play the Yinzers. Indy's favored by 3 on the road. What you got?
Should Indy or should have Pittsburgh signed Daniel Jones instead of Aaron Rodgers? That's a big question.
Great question.
Because so far, of course, what Daniel Jones has done with Indianapolis is kind of what Pittsburgh was hoping Aaron Rodgers would have done with Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh just, they spend so much money on that defensive side of the ball to give up 30 points, essentially a game and big game situations. It's been very surprising. Indianapolis, of course, super dominant. I think that dominance is going to continue. I got them winning 33-27.
Well, I think the big difference is had Indiana Jones become Pittsburgh Jones or whatever the hell catchy nickname somebody would have come up with, he wouldn't have had Indianapolis's offensive line. He wouldn't have had Jonathan Taylor. He wouldn't have had Tyler Warren. So he would have walked into the same situation that Aaron Rodgers walked into.
That's fair.
However, I think this is the game when I think we're due for a Daniel Jones game where he feels what it is he's facing and what he's doing. the fact that they won, they're dominating the NFL. I think this is the week where they stumble a little bit. I still think they're going to make a run for the 1 seed. I still think they run away with the NFC or the AFC South. But I think this week Pittsburgh is going to knock off the one-loss Colts 24-21 at home in Pittsburgh.
Wow, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. One caveat I got to throw in for Pittsburgh, they've been definitely interested in trading for a wide receiver. I wonder if Dallas has a wide receiver they'd be interested in.
Don't you take George Pickens out of it.
Well, they essentially already decided to punt on that.
Yeah.
And I find it funny that they're still looking for a wide receiver.
Yeah,
It's kind of like how Dallas is looking for a pass rusher.
go figure.
The grass is not always greener on the other side.
Trade away your talented players and go figure it comes back to bite you in
Wow.
the backside.
Shocking.
Yeah, sorry, we are live in a live bookstore, and there are children in the children's section, so in the patchouli patch. So we are going to watch our language.
Yes,
And
indeed.
by we, I mean me. Charlie always does.
Yeah, luckily Dallas is Monday night game, so we got plenty of time. we got plenty of time.
Yeah, and the Raiders are 3:05 game. Next up, we have got Denver coming down to deep in the heart of Texas. They're going to Houston. Houston favored by 1.5. Let me double check that line. Yeah. Houston is where are we?
These are two of the best defenses in the National Football League.
Heard.
Of course, you got Denver. Needless to say, they got everything on the defensive side of the ball. Great play from the secondary to the linebackers to defensive line, and Houston, you can say just about the same.
Yep.
I think the toughest part for Houston is their linebacking room, and still about 28 different teams in the National Football League would die to have Houston's linebacking core. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun defense matchup. Do you got any update on the line?
No, the line is still Houston is in fact favored. I was a little surprised by that. When I looked it up, I'm definitely surprised it hasn't flipped yet. But yeah, Houston's still favored by 1.5. And I've got this being, I think CJ Stroud is starting to find his rhythm. I know that they're a little dinged up. They've lost some of their offensive weapons, but CJ has looked solid the last couple of weeks.
Maybe he's throwing the ball before the game and not dribbling a basketball.
That's what I'm wondering, if somebody took his basketball away from him. I've got the Texans upsetting not upsetting, they're favored at home. I've got the Texans taking this one 27-24, knocking Denver out of first place in the AFC West. Sole position first place.
Yeah, it's hard to, I guess, beat two Texas teams.
Back-to-back weeks. Yep.
Yeah, back-to-back weeks.
Especially when you got to come into Houston, when you got to come into Texas instead of playing at Mile High.
That's very true. And, of course, Mile High, they got a pretty loud fan base. So,
and from what I understand, Denver, they tend to get Mile High.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's totally fair.
Do I have a drum roll over here?
Ooh, a drum roll.
Yeah, it's not very loud. Not very good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
Yeah, I kind of see this game going a little bit opposite. I think it's going to be a defensive side kind of game. I think we're going to see not many points put up. It's going to be one of those matchups. If you're a true football fan, you'll enjoy watching it. If you're one that likes flashy offenses, this is not the game for you. I got a feeling Denver's going to win this game 20-14. I think I like what I've seen from Houston's offense, kind of slowly but surely. I think if they can get Nico Collins back, that will tremendously help that offense. But without him, they kind of are talent depleted there. So, of course, going against one of the best defenses like Denver has, it's going to be hard to score points. So if you can shut down Dak Prescott, I feel like Denver can shut down C.J. Stroud. So I got them winning 20-14.
Yeah, I think the difference here is going to be a takeaway by the Texans defense. I've got the Texans taking this at home 27-24, sending Denver back home.
Yeah.
With an L.
If you throw it to Derek Stingley, bad things happen if you're an offense. So
I'm into that.
Kind of the same way about throwing to Surtain.
Yeah, what's the latest on him? Is he back?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think he's back. They still got him listed as questionable. He hasn't practiced much this week. I think he was a limited practice today. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, if there's any way he can go, he's going. That's
Yeah.
just who he is.
Well, and he didn't miss basically any time with that Cowboy game.
Yeah,
Of
just
course, got hurt early on and continued to play, and really wasn't needed much because that offense wasn't moving. So
like I said, if there's any way he can go, he's going to go.
yeah.
Next up, the Bears going down the road to Cincinnati. The Bears favored by 2. Yeah, if there was an IDC game in Week 9, this would be it for me. Bears favored by 2.5 on the road at Cincinnati against the inimitable Joe Flacco and the Bengals.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if it's going to be Joe Flacco because,
Really?
yeah, Joe Flacco might be out.
Oh,
Jake Browning, what I'm hearing, is potentially going to have to start this game. And with that being said, Jake Browning, you've seen what that Bengals offense looks like with him. And you see what the Bengals offense looks like with Joe Flacco, and it couldn't be any clearer which one is better and which one is worse.
you know, it would be more fun. I would rather see Jamar Chase taking snaps as a quarterback for the Bengals. Just the whole game, put him back there, let him rip.
He'd be a lot better than what Jake Browning throws out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, with that being said, Chicago, they did not look great this past week. I still feel like Chicago, if they're going up against caliber quarterback like Jake Browning, I got to go with Chicago. So I got them winning 27-24. But if you like really good football, this is not for you.
Yeah, I've got the Bears taking this 21-17 in a game that I don't think anybody would mind missing. Yeah, it's just I don't see there's a whole lot of future for either of these teams. Still
Ooh,
like
are
this.
you punting on the Caleb Williams experience?
That's I was just getting ready to say. I think that Caleb Williams. I don't have any interest in these teams. I don't think there's any future for them for either of the teams. I think Caleb Williams getting these snaps now is going to position him for next year. Is he going to be ready to take that next leap?
Yeah.
He's not doing it in year 2. He doesn't have a ton of talent around him. So if they can beef up during the off season, we'll see. But right now, I think the Caleb Williams experiment continues.
Yeah, Ben Johnson needs a quarterback that's good with the time, and he is not one of those quarterbacks that excels with timing routes.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they move forward.
The Packers are welcoming the Carolina Panthers, and they're graciously giving the Panthers 12.5 points to start the game. So yeah, this is the final noon game of the week. Green Bay against Carolina. What you thinking?
Yeah, if it's Bryce Young, then I think Carolina could make this game a little bit more competitive. If it's Andy Dalton, this is a runaway from the start. I got a feeling Green Bay is going to win no matter what, 31-17. And again, if it's Andy Dalton, that Carolina team is in for a long day.
Yeah, I've got this. I've been seeing garbage time touchdown to get to 17, but I think I've got the Packers winning this one easily, 34-17, sending Carolina back home. Moving into the 3:05 games, we've got 2. The first, New Orleans at the Rams. The Rams laying 14.5 points at home as they welcome the Saints into SoFi.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a feeling this is another one of those runaway games. Word out of New Orleans is that the Spencer Rattler experience is done for the year. Tyler Shuck now moves into the starting role for the remainder of the year. I don't think that makes New Orleans any better. I don't think it makes New Orleans any worse.
Yeah.
I still feel like New Orleans is kind of sprinting down to a top 5, maybe top 3 pick in the NFL draft. And this Rams win is going to help that march continue. So I got them winning 27-14.
Yeah, I've got the Rams winning by even more than that. I've got them just stomping 37-21, and the 21 is going to include a late garbage time touchdown. It's not going to be that close as it is. I think the Rams are they've discovered who they are. They are hitting their stride, and if they don't stumble, this is where they need to really start just mudhole the bad teams that they're playing, start stacking up those wins because they're going to need them come the end of the year.
And will Chris Olave be traded by the deadline as well.
I,
Lot of players could be moved out of New Orleans if they really want to start steering that ship to a top pick in the draft.
yeah, absolutely. Did I mention I've got the Rams winning this one 37-21?
Oh yeah.
All right, next up, my former home team of the Jacksonville Jaguars going to my beloved Las Vegas Raiders. Jacksonville's laying 3 points on the road. What are you thinking?
Yeah. I think, of course, both of these teams I enjoy to watch and like to follow them as well. I feel like, of course, Jacksonville having a bye week last week was very beneficial. Um, Hopefully it helped Brian Thomas get a little bit more healthy. But going up against Las Vegas, of course, Vegas has struggled a little bit throughout the year, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. And this is a really good Jacksonville defense. So I feel like Jacksonville is going to win this ball game 31-20, and kind of continue their march to try to upset Indianapolis coming down the stretch.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think that coming out of the bye last week, Pete Carroll is going to have this Raiders team as effective as they're going to be.
Mm.
More effective than they were to kick off the season, because now there's more game film for him to show and teach. That's one thing Pete Carroll is great at, is teaching his players.
Yeah.
They've had the bye week. They've had extra time to go back, look at game film. I think that you're going to see a Raiders team on offense that's much less volatile. I think you're going to see a Geno Smith that's a little more in control, protecting the ball, not playing from behind the sticks. I don't, it doesn't look like Brock Bowers is back yet, but I think you're going to have a fairly healthy Raiders team other than that. So the question is, will Pete Carroll have this team ready? I think he will. Playing at home in Las Vegas, I've got the Raiders taking this one 27-24 in a bit of an upset. But I also think it's gut check time for the Jaguars. Are they really a contending team? Is their defense really that good, or was it opportunistic? I think we're going to see a lot about both of these teams. I don't think the Raiders are going anywhere this year, but I think that we're going to see one of the best versions of the Raiders this weekend, even better than we saw in week one when they beat the Patriots. So, yeah, I've got the Raiders taking this 27-24, and that's probably way more rationalization. That the fact that I had to use that much rationalization is probably a red flag on this. But I really do believe that Pete Carroll's going to have this Raiders team ready to go against the Jaguars. I've got them winning 27-24.
Heck yeah. And two teams you've rooted for, so it's going to be fun to watch them both play each other.
Absolutely. Game of the week, I believe, Kansas City at Buffalo.
Yeah.
This could be a preview of the AFC Championship game. I think both of these teams are positioned well to make that run.
Yeah.
Kansas City favored by 1.5 on the road.
Yeah.
Let me confirm that is still a thing. It is still a thing. Kansas City still favored by 1.5.
Yeah, it's one of those teams that is riding a heater, and one team that, as of late, kind of has struggled a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if it was the playoffs, my opinion of this game would be a little bit different. With it being, of course, week 9, I feel like this is one of those matchups that a certain player that is number 17 has had circled on his calendar for many months and kind of has been the motivation. So I feel like Buffalo is going to give their best foot forward. I feel like Kansas City, of course, is going to continue showing why they're one of the top teams in the AFC, but I feel like they're going to meet a team that is well prepared for them. So I got Buffalo winning 29-27, but this is my game of the week as well.
Yeah, I think this is going to be outstanding football. And as much as Number 17 may have had this game circled on his calendar. I think number 15 would love nothing more than to go stick his finger in the eye of number 17. I've got the Chiefs taking this one on the road. It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the wire. I've got the Chiefs winning this one 34-31 in Buffalo.
Heck yeah. I'm
Yeah.
excited to watch it.
Yeah, this one's going to be fun. If I could only watch one game this week, this would be it.
I would agree with you.
All right, moving on to Sunday night, Seattle at Washington. Seems like a bit of a letdown, but Seattle's laying 3.5 at home against a banged-up Washington team. What you looking?
Yeah. Yeah, banged up is a good way to put it. It looks like Jaden Daniels might be back for this week. But of course it looks like Terry McLaurin is going to be out for this week. So you take one step forward and take two steps back. Seattle, as we've talked about all year long, they looked really good on both sides of the ball. I think that's going to continue. I think Seattle is poised for a deep run. I got them winning 30-14.
Yeah, I think the injuries that Washington has had this year would have had Dan Quinn pulling his hair out if it wasn't already missing. But yeah, I've got the Seahawks taking this one as well. Washington, I I think we're going to see a different Washington team in the back half of this season. They're just not back yet, and Seattle, I think, is really starting to feel the chip on their shoulder. So I think we're going to see Seahawks take this at home, 28-17.
Heck yeah.
Finally, the Monday night game, Arizona. By the way, the buys for this week: Cleveland Browns, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Philadelphia Eagles, New York Jets. Final game of the week, Monday night.
Wait, the Jets can't lose this week.
Jets cannot lose, just like the Raiders could not lose last week.
That's great.
I was very grateful for that. It's been that kind of year.
There's going to be many Jets fans that are happy with that.
Absolutely. They're going to ride their one-game win streak another week.
Heck yeah.
All right, Arizona, the Cardinals coming into Arlington to face your beloved Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are favored by 3 points against Arizona. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking if Kyler Murray is healthy, he loves to win ball games at AT&T Stadium. Of course, he didn't lose his first game at AT&T until he was in the National Football League, and he was a Texas quarterback that went to many state championships and state finals. So if that being said, if Kyler plays, I think it's going to be a little bit different. If Kyler misses, I still feel like when Dallas goes and plays Arizona, they struggle. So I think it's going to be a very competitive game. I got Dallas winning 33-30, but as a Cowboy fan, I really hope Kyler's not going to play.
Yeah, here's the thing. You said that Kyler didn't get his first loss at AT&T until he was in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's still in the NFL. Granted, he's playing against the Cowboys, who've struggled on defense, primarily against the run. But I've said this before. I'll say it again. I've been saying it all year long. I don't see anything in Arizona. I just don't. Kyler isn't the type of quarterback that can pick up a team and put it on his back and carry it week to week against NFL teams. I just don't see it. I don't see this being close. I think Dallas is going to win this one 31-17, and Arizona's got to make some decisions about what they're going to do with that football team.
Yeah, that's very fair. Very fair. And just to mention it, Kyler actually has never lost in Dallas. He is 9-0, playing for Allen High School, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, and Arizona. So all the way, even through the NFL, he's never lost in Dallas.
Well, I think that what we're going to see on November 3rd is history then. I think it's just not even going to be pretty.
Come on, Jacoby Brissett. Please play. Please play.
There's just not enough in Arizona to help Kyler win. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. The fan base is going to lose their absolute mind if they go into the bye week with this Cardinals loss. So our only hope is for number one to be sitting on the sideline instead of going to 10-0 against them.
Yeah, I think the Cowboys definitely need this. They need to stay. They need to be at 500 going into the bye. They absolutely need this win. So yeah, I think that's going to play into things as well.
Yeah,
we ran a little long today.
Yeah, But of course, that happens whenever you have all sports playing.
That's right. And I would like to remind everyone, this episode is sponsored by Patchouli Joe's Books and Indulgences. Expand your mind, indulge your senses at Patchouli Joe's.
Absolutely.
Denton, Texas, by the way. Did I mention that part?
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing beats books, nothing beats sports, and nothing beats coffee.
All right.
You can find all three at Patchouli Joe's.
Had a cup of coffee right before we got started. It's worn off. All right. Well, it's been great. Good to see you back, Charlie. And yeah, we will try this again next week. What do you say?
Yeah, let's do it.
Go silver and black.
Go silver and blue.
Peace.
This is the Patchouli Podcast Network.